The concern for the migrant extends beyond ICE raids and arrests and also includes care for where they are held and detained and whether they are afforded a right to due process and consultation with an attorney. One of the most controversial of the detention facilities is one quickly put up with tents and trailers on an old airstrip in the middle of the Florida Everglades. They call it Alligator Alcatraz. The 3,000-bed facility is surrounded by swampland and was constructed in days. The first detainees arrived in early July after President Trump, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, and Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem toured the facility, which contains multiple cage-like structures and tents designed to each hold 32 men. The governor called it an efficient and get-tough response to the administration's call for mass deportations with a name meant to deter illegal immigration. Critics denounce Alligator Alcatraz as too far from medical facilities, bug-infested with overflowing toilets, flooding tents, inadequate food, and sporadic air conditioning. Some Florida congressmen toured the facility last weekend, and several of them denounced what they called atrocious conditions. Noem quickly defended Alligator Alcatraz.
Pictures that you've seen don't do it justice. They are essentially packed into cages, wall-to-wall humans.
It's all a cruel stunt. Cruelty isn't just the point, it's the strategy. And we saw people, of course, yelling for help. We even heard in the background someone yell, "I'm an American citizen."
Alligator Alcatraz is held to the same standards that all federal facilities are. It's a fantastic resource for us to be able to utilize, and we've had several other states that are actually using Alligator Alcatraz as a model for how they can partner with us as well.
Alligator Alcatraz is located in the Diocese of Venice, Florida. Bishop Frank DeWayne points out many of the people incarcerated there are from traditionally Catholic countries. He is working with the Archdiocese of Miami to try to get pastoral care to the detainees, and so far has not been able to arrange that with ICE officials. Both he and Miami Archbishop Thomas Wenski are on the record with their concern. Wenski writes, "Much of the current rhetoric is obviously intentionally provocative. It is unbecoming of public officials and corrosive of the common good to speak of the deterrence value of alligators and pythons at the Collier Dade facility. Common decency requires that we remember the individuals being detained are fathers and mothers, brothers and sisters of distressed relatives." Archbishop Wenski joins us now to talk more about the detention center and the bishop's broader call about the critical need to overhaul America's broken immigration system. Your Excellency, thank you for joining us. You have been outspoken against the conditions at the so-called Alligator Alcatraz detention center. What is your greatest concern?
Well, my greatest concern is the health and care of the people that are being detained there. It's in a very isolated place, far away from medical facilities. It's in a swamp that is very hot on a tarmac, which makes it even hotter. The conditions are very Spartan, and nobody expected it to be the Four Seasons, as Governor DeSantis said. But at the same time, we do wish a minimum of standards, and one of those standards should be access to pastoral care. And since that place opened, I've been making, through my director of prison ministries, a daily appeal for scheduling masses and visits of our priests, of myself, to that facility. I've had a couple. I've had a congressman speak to the Attorney General of Florida to also ask for access for religious services. It's interesting. The Attorney General of Florida said that it's not a Florida problem because it's a federal facility. And when we talked to the feds, they said, well, no, it's run by the state of Florida. So these two governmental entities, the federal government and the state government, are arguing among themselves who is accountable for this place. And apparently they also are subcontracting this out to a private agency, one of these for-profit prison operations. This also is symptomatic of a wrong approach to the problem of immigration in the United States, because so far the administration is just putting the emphasis on enforcement only. And right now he's successfully gotten control of the border. And for many, many years in Congress, many Republicans and others would say that they would work on immigration reform, but only after the border was under control. Well, the border is under control now, and so this is an opportunity for Congress to step forward and to put together some positive immigration reform. And again, the administration can say they're enforcing the laws, and that's true. But the laws, if they're not working well, if they're working against the common good, they can and should be changed. And that's the prerogative of Congress. Congress makes the laws. We don't like activist judges making laws from the bench. We don't like the executive making laws through executive orders. So it's our constitutional system says that Congress makes the laws, the executive executes them, and the judiciary acts as a referee, as it were.
I do want to ask you and give you the opportunity to respond to people who say detention facilities such as Alligator Alcatraz, these are the natural consequences to breaking the law and to coming into the U.S. illegally. Is this a just punishment? Well,
you got to understand there are laws and there are laws. In most cases, breaking the law, entering the country illegally, or falling out of status is not a felony. It's a civil violation. A civil violation like a parking ticket or making a right turn on red, or jaywalking or walking on the grass where it says do not walk on the grass. So there's a difference between violent crime or felonies, and the administration is acting rightly to remove bad actors from our streets because nobody wants criminals walking our streets free. But most of the people, the immense majority of these people, are here, are working and working in honest jobs and trying to make a living for themselves and their families, trying to just have a future of hope for themselves and their families.
Your brother Bishop in the San Bernardino Diocese issued a Sunday Mass dispensation for faithful who have a fear of being arrested at Mass to be deported. Your brother Bishop in Nashville issued what he said is a clarification that no one is required to attend Sunday Mass if doing so puts their safety at risk. What are your thoughts on these actions in light of recent ICE raids, and would you consider a similar course of action in your own archdiocese?
Well, it's true. Everybody is fearful, and people are fearful in different parts of the country. Sometimes panic can be contagious. However, I think that up till now, the government has not invaded our churches. Churches are private property, and a government agency cannot enter the church without a warrant. To do so would be a violation of the Fourth Amendment. Not only the violation of the Fourth Amendment of the alien they're looking for, but a violation of the Fourth Amendment of the pastor of the parish, of the bishop himself, because these are private property. The government has to respect that. So I don't expect that the government will invade our churches, and so people, I think, can come to Mass or be at Mass in peace. It's probably more risky for them to go to the market, to go to the bodega, than it is to go to church. So I would say keep coming to church, and as you go back and forth, just be careful.
Finally, Pope Leo XIV, being the first U.S.-born pope, has a strong grasp on American politics. Do you expect our Holy Father will weigh in on the current U.S. immigration situation in the near future?
He might, but at the same time, I think as the Holy Father, he would also want to work through the local bishops and the local bishops' conference to do so as not to give the impression that he, as a head of state, a Vatican City state, is interfering in the internal issues of another government. So, his pronouncements will be, I think, very forthright. He won't be afraid to say what the truth is, and he said it already about treating all people, especially most vulnerable people, with justice and with kindness and compassion. But I don't think he's going to get into the nitty-gritty of the policy. I think that's our job here in the United States, and hopefully we will continue to press our case. And as I said, right now the ball is in the court of Congress, and I hope that the Trump administration is looking at the polling, because the polling indicates that many of his base are also shocked at the type of roundups that are taking place when people, for example, a 15-year-old boy was found at Alligator Alcatraz, and that's no place for a minor.
Archbishop Wenski, thank you so much for your time and for joining us this week.
Thank you.